Welcome back. Today, we're sharing the story of Heimdall, the Watcher at the edge of the world. If you enjoy stories like this, focused on mythology, make sure you subscribe for weekly videos and a new adventure. For now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey into the world of Norse mythology. In the far reaches of Asgard, where the rainbow bridge, Bifrost, touched the sky and arced into the mortal realm, stood a lone figure, Heimdall, the ever-watchful sentinel of the gods. His post was unyielding, his gaze unblinking, and his purpose woven tightly into the fate of the 9 realms. Heimdall was born of 9 mothers, sisters who were sea maidens, daughters of Aegir and Ran, the old gods of the ocean. From their union came a child of paradox, one of storm and silence, vigilance and mystery. Raised by the gods, Heimdall was gifted with sight and hearing so profound he could see 100 leagues by day or night and hear the grass grow in Midgard, even the wool sprouting on the sheep. He was not a warrior of thunder or flame, but a god of awareness, the first line of defense against chaos, and in many ways the final arbiter of its coming. His station was not chosen lightly. The gods feared the eventual arrival of Ragnarok, the fated end of all things, and it was Heimdall who would serve as the hornblower, the one who would signal the beginning of the end. In his possession rested Gjallarhorn, the resonant instrument whose call would echo through the 9 realms when the time would come. But Heimdall's life was not only about waiting for doom. For eons, Heimdall stood guard at the gates of Asgard, watching travelers and interlopers alike. He was not merely a guard, but a gatekeeper of balance. He judged those who approached the Bifrost with a mind as sharp as a blade, allowing only those worthy or sanctioned to pass into the realm of the gods. He saw beyond the surface, into intentions, into futures. He saw the shade of Loki's tricks before they played out, the ripple of fate before it unfolded. And though he was stoic and dutiful, he was never indifferent. The other gods admired his discipline, though few truly understood it. Heimdall was not made for revelry or feasts. He did not laugh as Thor did, nor whisper riddles like Odin. And yet, in moments of silence, even the mightiest gods looked to Heimdall, for they knew that if he stirred, the world itself might soon shift. Heimdall's greatest conflict, however, lay not in watching, but in knowing. He alone saw the threads of Ragnarok winding tighter each century. He alone glimpsed the flicker of betrayal in Loki's heart long before the trickster's crimes were unveiled. And yet, his duty was not to intervene, only to watch, to wait, and to sound the horn when the moment could no longer be delayed. Once a brother to the gods, Loki's path eventually twisted into bitterness and pride, his cleverness curdling into malice, and Heimdall saw it all. He warned Odin in subtle words and firm silences. He tracked the rising unease in Loki's shifting alliances, the sly disappearances and the half-truths. But the AllFather, ever weaving his own secret plans, hesitated to act. In Odin's eyes, Loki still had a role to play in the pattern of fate. In Heimdall's eyes, he was the crack in the wall of Asgard. And still, Heimdall did not raise Gjallarhorn. Not yet. Loki's betrayals mounted, the theft of Sif's hair, and the schemes against Baldur, and finally, the great wound, the death of Baldur himself, engineered by Loki's hand, hidden behind a blind god and a sprig of mistletoe. The light of Asgard dimmed. The gods mourned, and Heimdall clenched his fist. At the gates of the Bifrost, his breath low and his gaze locked on the horizon. Loki fled, of course. Shackled by fate, he would be found and bound beneath the earth with serpent-dripping venom upon his face. But Heimdall knew it would not hold forever. And then at last, the day arrived. The skies blackened and the world tree groaned. The dead marched from hell, led by Loki, finally freed with his twisted children in tow. Fenrir the wolf and Jormungandr the world serpent, and of course, Hel, the queen of the underworld. The frost giants poured into Jotunheim, the heavens shook and the seas boiled, and Heimdall, standing upon the Bifrost, raised Gjallarhorn. Its sound shattered mountains. It woke the sleepers, and it pierced the heart of creation. Across the 9 realms, every being divine and mortal knew the time had come. The gods armed themselves, heroes marched to their dooms, and Heimdall, solemn and resolute, stepped into battle. He met Loki, not on a field but in the ruins of their shared past, with Asgard burning behind them and Midgard trembling beneath. They fought not as strangers, but as inevitabilities, 2 forces that had always moved towards each other, bound by prophecy and by choice. Heimdall's sword met Loki's fire, and they danced through death, a grim, bitter ballet of blade and spell, duty and chaos. And in the end, both fell. Loki died with a sneer on his lips, and Heimdall, bleeding and broken, died with silence in his throat, but peace in his heart. The horn had been sounded and the warning had been given. His duty had been fulfilled. When the smoke of Ragnarok cleared and the worlds lay in ash and water, Heimdall's memory endured. In the new world, where gods would be reborn and the earth would flourish once more, his tale was whispered in reverence. The god who heard everything, the sentinel who never slept, the one who gave all so others may see the dawn. He was not the loudest, but his role had been vital. Without Heimdall, Ragnarok would have come unannounced, sudden and total. But thanks to him, the gods fought with honor, and some, like Baldur, would return. The bridge was gone, but the idea of Heimdall remained, a symbol of vigilance, of sacrifice, and of seeing the truth, even when no one else would. And so, Heimdall, son of 9 mothers, guardian of the Rainbow Bridge, enemy of the deceit, and the final match of the trickster, stood forever in the minds of gods and men, not just as the Watcher, but as the unsung heart of Asgard's last stand.